Hi friends, it's Kim. Sweet Daisy Creations here. Happy Saturday, everybody. I'm ready for my Houston Astros game tonight. I'm hoping they do well. And of course, if you're somebody who follows the Red Sox, I'm sorry. We both root for our own teams. It should be an exciting series. Anyways, I'm here today because I've had quite a few people ask me how I make my fabric garlands that I've made for Arlene. I made her a couple, one just for fun and one I made for her birthday. And I've had people asking me, how do I do it? So it's not easy, not hard. It's actually a very easy process, but I thought I'd show you today how I go about doing this and how cute they look when they're finished. So basically, I'm going to show you some of the materials I'm going to use to make the garland. And then I'm going to cut up one piece of fabric. I've got the rest of mine cut, otherwise this video would be terribly, terribly long. But basically, I buy most of my fabric at Walmart, and they sell what they call fat squares. And I have here one right here. It comes like this. They're 97 cents, and it's just rolled up like this. This is the first time they've done this for fall, or even any other holiday. I know last year I got some, when I made something, fat squares, I think my 4th of July one, that was it. And they were in the fat squares that are actually square. They're also the same price, 97 cents. Well, they had this in a box at my Walmart, a bunch of different colors. This is one of them, and it is called a fat square, 97 cents. So I picked up 6 of these to make Arlene's garland. And that garland turned out to be about 6 feet long. I didn't have her measure it particularly, but that's about how long it ended up, I think. And but anyways, I used all my fabric squares, or big squares, or fat squares, excuse me, from Walmart. So this is one. I did this is another one I did that's kind of got leaves on it, and it says happy fall and all that mess. And then here's one that has a sunflower on it and some corn and pumpkin, you can see there. This one has some birds and some apples and sunflowers and that. So that's that one. Then I've got one here that you can kind of tell it's got scarecrows on it and sunflowers. And then one here that's got pumpkins on this one. And then the last one I'm going to do is this one on the brown background with the leaves. So first up, you buy some fat squares. Secondly, you'll need to have some twine. This is burlap string. It works perfectly fine. It's relatively inexpensive. I have a whole bolt of it here because I use it a lot, in all my crafting. Any other type of, small type, something like this would work well. It doesn't have to be this. It can be something else that has about this same thickness, though, because you want it to hold well. I also have a Fiskars cutter that I bought. The Fiskars, you can buy these at Walmart, and I bought this cutting. It's actually kind of scalloped. I looked up pinking on Amazon, and that's where I got this, and that's what I cut all my fabric with. And what it does is it gives it a little bit of a scallopy edge, if you can see that, and that helps this so much, keeping from fraying. So I do every side of the fabric to make sure that it's not going to fray too much. Then I also have a pair of pinking shears here in case I have some areas where, sometimes the cutter doesn't get all the way through the fabric and I have to cut it. And this has the pinking on it. I don't know if they sell these anymore. This is also Fiskars brand. So if you don't have a cutter, you could actually use scissors. It would take a lot more time, but you could still do it with scissors. And then I have a regular scissors for any like loose strings and stuff. And then I'm doing everything on top of one of these Fiskars mats, cutting mats. And you can get these at Walmart. They have this size, and they also have the larger sizes. They have smaller sizes. They have all different types of sizes. So anyways, let's go ahead and cut the fabric. So Like I said, I bought 6 of these to make about a 6-foot garland. So whenever you buy fat squares, if you want a nice, about a 6-foot garland, or, you know, take one away if you want it a little bit shorter or whatever, but you'll need about 6, whether they're the square or the ones that were folded up long ways like this. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started, and I'll, basically I'm just going to cut this last one. Now these don't always turn out exactly the same as far as the number of strips you have. It's just because every time you cut it's not going to be exactly alike. But I found with these fabric squares, these particular ones, because I probably the square ones you buy are probably like this too. I'm not sure. I don't have any of those left. But I fold it lengthwise like this. And what this does, it makes this here, if I measure it on here, it's exactly about 8 inches, which is perfect for making your strips. You want them to be about 8 inches long. It's plenty of room to tie them when you're ready to do the tying aspect. So basically I take my fabric and I fold it over lengthwise. And then what I do is I cut all parts of it around all edges with my pinking cutter so that I get that pinking edge on every aspect of my ribbon or my thing. So you can see I've got the pinking on it's kind of hard to see on here, but there is pinking. See, it's pinked there. It's pinked on this edge here, and then over on this edge. So it's pinked all the way around, so that really eliminates the amount of strings you have when you make your garland. Because the very first time I did one, I made it for Arlene, and it was very stringy because I cut all my fabric with scissors or with a regular cutter. So basically, I don't know if you can, I hope you can see this. I'm just going to come along this edge here and cut just about 1/4 of an inch off. Hopefully that worked. Oh, see, I don't know if that's one thing. You have to press really hard with these because sometimes they don't work. I'm just going to tear that off. And then we're going to have strings until we do our next pass. And cut those off. So it looks like I got it scalloped there. So you will have some strings, but anyway, so I've cut that side. Now I'm gonna come along this edge here, and I'm trying to make sure that my fabric's about, you know, right on top of each other. It might be easier if we actually iron the fabric, but who's gonna do that, right? Who wants to iron fabric? So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go come down this edge too. I'm gonna start on this end. And I'm pressing pretty hard on this to make sure I get all the way through the fabric. And sometimes I think my cutter might be a little bit, because I've made several of these, it might be a little bit dull. All right, so I did that side. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do, if you can see that, I'm going to do this side here. Oh, I didn't do that very well, did I? Okay. Yeah, I think it's getting dull. And then the last side I'm going to do is this folded edge. So I'm going to come out with 2 strips, you know, strips. They're going to be, well, when I cut, I'm going to just do 1 cut. That's going to make it so much faster. So let me go down here and do this. See, I'm pushing pretty hard on there, but it's for some reason. Okay, so I don't want that to happen so much, so I'm going to take these apart real quick and I'm going to cut them like this. It'll probably be easier. And I basically cut mine about a little less, you know, just slightly less than an inch wide. So I'm just going to go through here and cut them if this cutter's going to work for me. Goodness, it's getting kind of dull, I think. This should make it faster, but it's not been that way. but slightly half an inch. That's about, you know, or half a slightly, hold on a second. See, it's like this one's bigger. Obviously, it got maybe towards the end. It doesn't really matter, but I try to do them about this size, the one on this finger. That way, you know, we'll have enough. But they're never going to all be alike. Like each one you cut, unless you're measuring each and every time, are going to be, you know, you're probably going to have a few left over when you finish strips. But when you're only spending 97 cents on these fabric squares, it's not like you're out of a lot of money if you have, you know, you didn't cut it exactly like each time, you know. It doesn't really matter that much. But anyways, I love these little squares are so cute. The fabric is so adorable. But as you can see, I'm having a tough time with my cutter. It's not cutting all the way through. And good thing I'm using a single piece of fabric here and not trying to go through two, because it would really be difficult. But I love the colors, especially in this one I'm working on now. Now this one's this way, so I'm just going to do it down the middle. And these two are going to be slightly bigger. It's just kind of what happens. Because, you know, unless, like I said, unless you measure them, it really... they're not going to come out that you have exactly the same number of strips each time. Oh my gosh, this cutter is already... I'm going to have to order another one of these because it's not cutting as well as it should. And I'm not quite sure why. It seems like if I go a little bit faster, it does better. It's just then I can't really, I don't measure as well when I do it faster. Oh, but here we go again. And like I said, the fabric's not that expensive, so I wouldn't worry about it too terribly much if they're, some are wider and some are skinnier, you know. I mean, it's just, you know, it's a craft. It can't be perfect. You know, it doesn't need to be perfect. It's going to be cute either way. But I know y'all been asking me how this is done, and this is how I do it. Ugh. So cutting the fabric takes the most time, obviously. It does take the most amount of time. And I'm definitely, now I'm getting to this one. It's only this wide, so I'm going to try to get 3 out of this. I'm going to turn it around because this part's rolling. That's another thing. It might be easier if it was ironed. But I wasn't going to take the time to do that. Okay, so. All right, there, I got that one. And this one I'm just going to go down the middle and make it 2. Okay. All right, so now we got all of our strips cut. And now it's time to start putting it on your string. So I've got my jute here. And what I'm going to do is I want to make a loop. So I'm going to make a slip knot. So I just fold over this where there's some string, and then I loop, make it, you know, go around my finger like this, and then it makes a hole where my finger was, and I stick my string through there, the other part of it, and pull, and it makes a slip knot like this. And you can always adjust this, you know, undo it or whatever and adjust it. But anyway, so there's your start, and this will hang, you know, if you want to hang your garland like on a fireplace or do something like that, it has a little loop to do so. So basically I just set my, let me get that out of the way. I set my jute over to the side, and then I just get started tying. So we'll take a loop. Let me get you a little closer. Hopefully you can see. Okay, you take a loop. Whoops, there, sorry. and you're just going to tie it. Well, I want you to be able to see. You're just going to take your fabric and tie it, like cross it over, and then pull it forward and tie, just like that. There we have one. We'll get another one. Do it. This fabric is not two-sided, so you have to put the bad side down when you're making the, and then you just take it again and tie it. And I'm not tying it real tight or anything like that. And just slide it next to the other one. And then we do that every single time. Sometimes I do them one way or the other way so that they don't face all the same direction. So now I've got one that's kind of going up and down versus sideways. Sometimes I do it like this, where I pull the fabric through a different direction so that it has a different look. And then as you go, as you keep doing this, and like I said, it's so easy, you just tie it. And then kind of slip it down. This one I'm going to do this way so we get, ooh, it's windy here today. I'm hearing like pine cones hit. And so we went through it all, so we've got one pass on there, and this is how it'll look so far. And then we'll keep doing this, and before you know it, we'll have a garland. So the most time-consuming time is actually cutting the fabric and then sitting here and tying it on. But you can sit and do this in front of the TV or wherever you might want to work on it, you know? And they are just so adorable. I'm so glad they're back in fashion again, or back in, you know, that they're... I love doing crafts, you know, they're just wonderful. So here, let me do another one. But basically just tying it on. And this is how it's looking. So far, so good. And where's the loop part? Here it is. And then when I was doing hers, I would just shake it so that they get all kind of mixed up and they're all not the same direction and stuff. And you can twist them to do that. And that's why I try to twist them as I'm working on it. Okay, I just did that one with the corn, so I got this one here. And we just keep working on it. So sometimes like I said, I just kind of switch the way I'm doing my tying and kind of do it backwards. And then it makes it just go a different direction. So I don't tie them all the same way. When I made my one that I did for the 4th of July, I just twisted my string back and forth so they wouldn't be all the same direction as I worked on it. But basically you just have to shake them and they'll look at kind of all like that, and they're just going to look cute when you get it all done. So we'll do a couple more. And yeah, it's going to be super cute when it's finished. Now this one I'm making, I guess I'm just going to save till next year because I have all my, my stuff is already finished for this year. So we'll go one more pass and you can kind of see how it's looking. Like I said, I just change it a little bit. Like I'm going to do this one this way where it's kind of backwards the way I do that, but it makes it go a different direction when I do that. So I kind of do that so that, we don't have it all look the same. But when you shake it around, it just does it anyway. So you don't really have to worry about it. But I go one way, this way, and then I go another way, the other way, and I just kind of do it that way. I just think it makes a difference. I don't necessarily think it does particularly, but I think it does. So, okay, which one did I just do? No, I did that one. No, this is that one. Okay. But I just keep working on it till I get finished with all my strips, because I've cut them all. So this is just going to be as long as it's going to be. You know, I don't know how long this will turn out, because like I said, it depends each, you know, I'll probably have some leftovers of the fabric. All right, let me do this last one and just show you how it looks so far. And there, it's coming along. It's going to be super cute. You really have to, you know, make it do that so you can see all the different fabrics. But that's basically what you do. So easy. So anyways, I just wanted to share that with you. I know a lot of you have been asking me about how I did this. And it's just, like I said, just that easy. So I cut up all 6 fabrics, each one at 8 inches long. And it seems to be just about the right length to make a cute little garland. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial, and I'll be back. I know everybody wanted to know how I made those pumpkins, so I'll show you how to make the pumpkins maybe in my next video. Thank you so much for coming by and visiting my channel. I just love every one of you so very much, and I thank you so much for being my friend here on YouTube. Everybody, please keep crafting, and remember, every craft doesn't have to be perfect, because this certainly won't be. But anyways, take care, everyone. Go Astros, and I'll talk to you soon. Lots of hugs and kisses. Bye.